It should be remarked here that when such, or interrupting devices of any kind, are used and the currents are passed through the primary of a disruptive discharge coil, it is not, as a rule, of advantage to produce a number of interruptions of the current per second greater than the natural frequency of vibration of the dynamo supply circuit, which is ordinarily small. It should also be pointed out here that while the devices mentioned in connection with the disruptive discharge are advantageous under certain conditions, they may be sometimes a source of trouble, as they produce intermittences and other irregularities in the vibration which it would be very desirable to overcome. There is, I regret to say, in this beautiful method of conversion, a defect which fortunately is not vital, and which I have been gradually overcoming. I will best call attention to this defect and indicate a fruitful line of work by comparing the electrical process with its mechanical analog. The process may be illustrated in this manner. Imagine a tank with a wide opening at the bottom, which is kept closed by spring pressure, but so that it snaps off suddenly when the liquid in the tank has reached a certain height. Let the fluid be supplied to the tank by means of a pipe, feeding at a certain rate. When the critical height of the liquid is reached, the spring gives way, and the bottom of the tank drops out. Instantly the liquid falls through the wide opening, and the spring, reasserting itself, closes the bottom again. The tank is now filled, and after a certain time interval the same process is repeated. It is clear that if the pipe feeds the fluid quicker than the bottom outlet is capable of letting it pass through, the bottom will remain off, and the tank will still overflow. If the rates of supply are exactly equal, then the bottom lid will remain partially open, and no vibration of the same and of the liquid column will generally occur, though it might, if started by some means. But if the inlet pipe does not feed the fluid fast enough for the outlet, then there will be always vibration. Again, in such case, each time the bottom flaps up or down, the spring and the liquid column, if the pliability of the spring and the inertia of the moving parts are properly chosen, will perform independent vibrations. In this analog, the fluid may be likened to electricity or electrical energy, the tank to the condenser, the spring to the dielectric, and the pipe to the conductor through which electricity is supplied to the condenser. To make this analogy quite complete, it is necessary to make the assumption that the bottom, each time it gives way, is knocked violently against a non-elastic stop, this iron-packed involving some loss of energy, and that, besides, some dissipation of energy results due to frictional losses. In the preceding analog, the liquid is supposed to be under a steady pressure. If the presence of the fluid be assumed to vary rhythmically, this may be taken as corresponding to the case of an alternating current. The process is then not quite as simple to consider, but the action is the same in principle.